Welcome to Finding Inverses Algebraically. Let's get started. Remember from the last video, when you draw a function or graph the function and then reflect it over this y equals x parent linear function, you get its inverse. So here's the original function and there's the inverse. And the points of the original, like say it was 10, 2, the inverse is just the opposite, 2, 10. So the x became the y and the y became the x. So what we're going to work on now is finding the equation of this inverse from the equation of the original function algebraically. Our first step to finding the inverse algebraically is to turn this f of x into y. You can leave the rest of the equation the same for now. Now, just like on the graph, we want the y and the x to swap places. So that means we have x equals 1/4 y plus 2. So you can see how they just switch places. Next, what you want to do is solve for y, just using algebra. So we can subtract 2 from both sides, and that gives us x minus 2 equals 1/4 y. And here, because we have a fraction, we can divide by 1/4 on both sides, or you can look at it as multiplying by 4, since that's a reciprocal of 1/4. And that cancels these, and then you multiply the entire left side by 4. Remember, we distribute 4 times x, 4 times -2, so that gives us 4x minus 8 equals y. The final step, just like over here, we change f of x into y, so our last step needs to be to change y back into f of x. The only difference is that now you're going to have a -1 above the f to show that it's the inverse of the original function. And this is our answer. Now you can use your calculator to make sure that the inverse equation is correct. You have to go to y equals, you plug in your original function, which was 1/4 x plus 2, and I like to put the fractions in parentheses. Next, you graph your parent linear function, y equals x. And last, you plug in your inverse equation, which we found to be 4x minus 8. Graph it. There's your original function, the parent linear function, and our inverse equation. You can see that the original function and the inverse equation are reflected over that y equals x line. So that means your inverse equation is correct. So here are the steps written out. Remember to change f of x to y, have the x and y switch places in the equation, then just solve for y, get your equation slope-intercept form, which is just y equals mx plus b. Then change your y back to f of x, but remember this time the f has a little -1 by it. And then you can always check it in your calculator to make sure you did it right. That's it for this week. Thanks for watching and see you soon.